everyone's been having a lovely day today. At least we get to enjoy some good music while waiting for this to work itself out, huh, kids? Alright, it looks like we're live. Excellent. Sound. Yay! Hello, ladies and gentlemen! Welcome to another stream for Asagao Academy! My name is Gina, aka the Gina Chew. If you look in the chat, my wonderful bot will tell you all of the types of social media you can follow me on. You can follow me on Twitter at the Gina Chew, or you can follow me on YouTube or here on Twitch to keep an eye on when I will be next streaming. So the last time we streamed, we finished PBG's route. We got the bad end, and then we went back and we did the best end. So now we're gonna get all the best ends for all the guys. So let me load. Actually, I think we need to start from the beginning. Yeah, we're gonna start from the beginning. Okay. So here's how this is gonna work. For those of you who were not at the last stream, this is how we're gonna be doing these best endings. Because the beginning part of the game, I'm pretty sure, is the same for every single route, aside for, you know, one or two choices, we're going to be using this little skip feature here. Basically, it's going to skip past everything we've already seen, stop at every decision point, and then after the decision point, we'll get to see what happens afterwards, and anytime it hits any kind of scene that we haven't seen before, the game will stop for us. So it's going to skip through everything we've already seen, and then when we get to the new content, we'll go through that like normal. So, if you have not seen my previous streams, or if you haven't played through the first part of Asagao Academy yourself, you're not going to understand what's going on, because I'm going to be skipping through all that, because we've already done this on the stream once before, and it would take me forever and a day to go through the whole game 6 times over for each one of the romance routes. Kibitsin 495! Thank you so much for the host, my friend. I so appreciate it. You guys should definitely go follow my good friend Kibitsin 495. He streams a lot of awesome stuff. I think he's been streaming a lot of oh god, what's it called? The game with the boobs. I don't remember. Senran Kagura, that's it. He's been streaming a lot of Senran Kagura, so if you like that kind of thing, it's a pretty fun game. It's entertaining to watch. Go watch his stream, because he has some awesome content, and he is a really cool guy to boot. So, we're going to start with JonTron's route. I have the walkthrough in front of me for the best end, because I don't want to waste time doing all of this multiple times. So the way I'm going to do this is, when we get to a decision point, I'm going to, without looking at the guide, kind of come up with what I would choose, and then look at the guide to see if I would be ruining everything or if I would be on the right track. This way it's kind of blind, but we're also going to be sure that we get the best end. Because I know Kibitsin is dying to see me romance JonTron. So, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Okay. So, let us start by skipping all of these shenanigans. Yeah, there's Jared. We've already seen him. Here's the school. There's Mai, our BFF / roommate. Okay. So, this is the point where Jared came up to us because he saw us on the train, and they asked if we know, quote-unquote, Jared. So, we're gonna say, not really. I believe you would say, I guess so, if you wanted to romance Jared, but we're gonna go with, not really, because that's not what we're doing this time. Now, that girl's all upset with us. Blah, blah, blah. There's Satch in the library giving us a book. This is the other tip that I heard, is you have an opportunity, here we go, to take the book that Satch gives us with us to school, or leave it behind. General consensus is, if you're not romancing Satch, leave the book behind. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna leave the book behind. Sorry, Satch, we will romance you another day, I promise, my friend. Oh, there's JonTron, there's Jacques! He's our victim of the day. We're gonna be romancing him. I'm not sure how long it's going to take. I assume it's gonna take a while. I think, like, only the first chapter is the same, and then the second, third, and fourth chapter should all be different depending on who you're romancing. Okay, this is the choice that would, I believe, get you in with Shane if you wanted to romance Shane. I've done both of them before. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect us, so I'm just going to say give him space because Shane is kind of a jerk. He's the tsundere of the game. He's a big pain in the butt sometimes. Oh, there's the guys from Continue, knocking us over, making us look like a fool. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate it. Okay. Some more lunchtime shenanigans. A teacher that desperately needs to get laid. There's PB and Jeff. Of course is what you would say if you were romancing PBG. We already romanced Peebs, so... but we're gonna say of course anyway, though, just to so that this way we can skip over more of it. I'm just trying to get to the content. Okay, sure. This is Gerard asking if he wants us to take us on a tour. So that you would say okay if you wanted to romance him. We're gonna say okay because we've already done it. There's Cat Icarus and Jimmy Wetzel. Cool to see them in this game. There's Jared again with his modeling pictures. They're so fantastic. Oh man, this game is so much fun. And I love watching the fast forwards because it looks funny. Yeah. There's Josh Lena, I think his name was when he put the stupid wig on. There's us chatting with PBG. There's us getting all friendshipy with Mai. Okay. So this is the choice between backing Paul saying the student government is more important or backing Jared saying his fashion show is more important. Obviously, if you wanted to romance Paul, you would back him. If you wanted to romance Jared, you would back him. We're going to say I don't want to choose between you two because we're not romancing either of them. This is a question. We don't know what it is. We were zoned out and she asked us yes or no. And apparently the correct answer is yes. So we're going to say yes. We don't know what we said yes to. We're just rolling with it. Here's Shane catching us touching the golden boots. That was a really dumb move on Mai's part. She ruins everything. This is us beating them in Stomp Sisters. I love that they called it Stomp Sisters. There's PBG in his game. Here's us giving the itty bitty kitty to Gerard. Okay, so to romance, to be able to lock in some romances, you want to say they're your friends too. This is Mai getting upset because she really wanted to know the Normal Boots Club, but she didn't have a chance to before we came and she felt kind of jealous and she's like, the only reason why they know me is because they're your friends. We're saying, no, they're your friends too, Mai. We're all a big group of friends. It's all good. My group of friends were very open. There's like 30,000 of us. It's great. Okay, so this is where we're going to start with some of the JonTron stuff. We already went through this. But you know what? I'll go through the scene really quick because it is relevant to John. So basically, what JonTron did is he said that he had a part for us in mind for his play. So he asked us to come and see so that he could talk to us about this part he wants us to play. Oh, Hannah, thank you so much. You're darling. John flung his arms around my neck, then just as quickly let go. I glanced away to hide my face. Sure, I was turning pink. Awesome! This will be great! Meet me after school in the theater. I've got everything prepared for you. Yeah, great. Well, now that that's settled, come on, Hannah. Let's go to lunch! Alright, so... you coming, Hannah? He poked his head around the corner. Yeah! He might have been spending too much time with that bird. Oh, Jacques. Okay. So this is all normal stuff.
Hey.
We're gonna try and skip to when we go see John after class. This is Mai getting mad at us because we're stubborn AF. Okay, here we go. So the problem with this here, yes, Kibitz and Hana means flower, it does. So basically, he said, I'm running a Romeo and Juliet play, I have a perfect part for you, and Hana stupidly assumed that he wanted her to play Juliet. So now she has visions of myself and John in period clothes sweeping across the stage floated through my mind. Spotlights glistening in his hair. He leaned in towards me. On guard! Thank you, Ian. By the way, Kapitzin, yes, Brutal Moose speaks in Comic Sans. I know that makes you so happy. Kapitzin Comic Sans is his favorite font ever, you guys. Just so you know. You should bug him about it all the time. Really? Hana's ripped off from a Pangya character? I don't know what that is. But, you know, she's a main character. She's a main character. Ugh! Romeo, my love! Juliet, this isn't how the story was supposed to go. Romeo! Ah! Whoa, what's wrong? Nothing. Sorry. Is class over? She zoned out in class imagining her and John as Romeo and Juliet. I'm sure that's realistic. Yeah, you're going to the theater, right? After that daydream, it was hardly like I had a choice. Bye-bye. A Koreaboo golf game. I've never heard of that game, Kibitson, but that's awesome. Yeah, I'm glad you like that Ian talks in Comic Sans. They actually literally say before you ever hear him speak that he speaks in Comic Sans, and then when you see him in his first scene where he speaks, he literally speaks in Comic Sans. I'll see you back at the dorms. Okay, bye. It's okay, Hana. You can do this. The theater is here, right? Here's the theater. The door opened into a gorgeous room with bright red seats. John was down on the stage, his arms flung to the ceiling. Doth thou protestations relinquish mine, famine? Nay. Oh, Jacques. Ah! Nay! Oh, sorry about that. Jacques, you've got to have a little more intensity. Don't you want to be famous? Nay. Why, you little... Excuse me?
Hana!
Hana! His voice shot up several octaves. Come in, come in, come in! He leaped up the stairs, grabbed me by the hand, and pulled me into the room. I wasn't sure you were going to come. Thank you so much, Hana. You were really the only person I could trust to do this. About that, John. I don't know about this. I'm really not an actress. There's no way I could be Juliet. Yeah, you know what? It would have been cool to be voiced. The voices are the actual normal boots and hidden block guys, but it isn't fully voiced. I mean, all of them are really super busy. It probably would have taken a really long time to get the game fully voiced, but it's cool that they have, you know, different clips and stuff of them saying things and reacting. You know, it's a little nice touch, and it's cool to hear their actual voices. He stopped pulling me. Who said anything about Juliet? That's what you get for assuming, Hana. Didn't you?
No.
Just no. That wasn't the part you wanted to talk to me about? Oh, no, of course not. You're right. You're not suited to Juliet at all. Ouch. He ran backstage, returning with a large inflatable bag. Actually, I wanted you to be, drum roll please, Jacques. Da 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 da. Thank you so much, Jacques. He tossed the bag onto the stage. The crumpled plastic unraveled, revealing...
Yeah!
A tree! A tree. You're perfect for the part. You're so shy and quiet, and you have an impressive ability to stand still for long periods of time. This is how JonTron thinks, ladies and gentlemen. He wants us to be a tree. The other day in class, you stared into space for almost 20 minutes straight and didn't move a muscle. Oh. Of course. Why would he want me to play a lead role? It was obvious I wasn't cut out for that kind of thing. Wanting to play the Romeo to my Juliet. How ludicrous. What's wrong? Of course I wouldn't be able to play Juliet. No one would think I could do that. Well, it's not that you can't, but John wasn't trying to be mean. He just didn't seem to get that it was insulting. Yeah, Asagao JonTron doesn't seem to be quite hip to what is going on in other people's heads. I'll think about it, okay? But I'm gonna go for now. If you say so, be sure to give me your answer soon. I'm so ready for this. It's going to be the best play yet, especially with Jacques as our Juliet. Yes, that's right. Jacques has taken the part that we thought we were playing from us. I love you. Jacques ellipses. Goodbye, John.
See you later.
Look at her. She's on the verge of crying. See you later, Hana. How awful was that? I shut the door to the dorm room, wanting nothing more than to collapse onto my bed.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Hana. Mai was laying on her bunk upside down, her red hair spilling over the side. Something glistened in her hands. What are you doing? I'm cutting out little blossoms, see? Okay, so this is them they're gonna be decorating the room. So that's the JonTron relevant part of the beginning part of the game. There's Ian and his Comic Sans. Okay, so this is us being asked, don't you want to be in the Normal Boots Club? And the correct answer to open the romances is, I'd like to try. Even if I fail, I'm gonna work hard and give it my best. Yeah, you go, girl. And here's us skipping through more stuff. So this is them giving us the ultimatum, which is basically, we need a puzzle person for this tournament against Hidden Block. You're gonna come in with us as a member of Normal Boots to play a puzzle game against Ian, and if you win, we'll let you actually join the Normal Boots Club. So that is, for those of you who don't know what's going on, that is the ultimatum, is they are saying, oh, Kabitzen, you weren't following me? Wow. Well, now you just got yelled at by Lenneth Valkyrie, so you're welcome. Thank you for the support. Why the hell were you not following me? I don't know. Well, now you are, so thanks. Okay, so obviously we're going to be picking John because that is who we are romancing.
John.
I choose John. My whistled.
Really?
I see. Going for the big guns, huh? Huh? I always knew my Hana would reach for the stars. Now look at you, up on the moon. Wait, what? She winked at me. Well, go on.
What?
What? Go on and get your man. Oh, wait, you mean now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are going to go ask John to be our date to the flower festival. So let's do it. Mai hit me on the back and practically shoved me towards the door. As I began to leave, my legs turned to jelly. Small pink blobs filled my vision. What? Yuri route where? I don't think there is a romance route with Mai, but if there was, I would definitely do it because Mai is adorable and awesome. Mai was tossing cherry blossom petals over my head. Go get Senpai to notice you! Mai beamed at me. No time to talk, Hana. This is gonna be your big day. You're a main character. Unless you messed up real badly, you'll definitely get a good answer. Thank you for breaking the fourth wall, Mai. I've messed up a lot, though. Just go! We actually haven't messed up. We've done what we were supposed to do. With a final shove, I was out the door. Now, where would I find him? Obviously in the theater. John was where he said he would be, in the theater. He was holding Jacques and dramatically singing an opera song in a tone I didn't think he could muster. A sad-looking first-year sat on the bench of a piano, reluctantly playing music. I waited until a pause where the piano notes slowed, signaling the end of the song.
John.
John? Ah! Oh, Hana! He stopped and jerked to face me. A worse bird might have been sent careening towards the chalk-marked floor of the auditorium, but Jacques stayed firm. John cleared his throat and looked at the floor, receding from the opera mood. Okay, so yeah, I'm interested to see what's going to happen in this route, because in PBG's route, it was heavily implied that John broke Jacques at some point during the story, because all of a sudden Jacques wasn't there and he was just, you know, he tried to play it off, but it became obvious from stuff we overheard that he broke Jacques somehow. So I wonder if we'll get to figure out what happened in this route, or if Jacques breaks it all. We'll see. How can I help you, Hana? I wasn't expecting you. He coughed awkwardly, and I almost did the same. It wasn't my intention to stop you in the middle of this. Please, keep singing. I would love to hear the rest of it.
I don't know.
Well, now that you're here, I don't think I can. Look at that blush. Were his cheeks pink? Stage fright? And here I thought John's only setting was joke cracker. It was cute. I tried to hide my amusement. Well, I came here because now it was my turn for a peach face. I want to go to the flower festival with you, John. She just came right out and said it. She danced around it a little bit with PBG. She came outright and said it to John. A breeze came out of nowhere, rustling my hair and clothes while I looked intently at him. Oh God, this game is so good. Actually, you know what? Let's save. I'm on page 3 of these saves. The question. I like that it's called that. Dear diary, wish me luck. Oh, and we've got 10 tournament points. Another thing about leaving Satch's book behind is we get tournament points towards the tournament at the end of the game. If we leave the book behind, I guess because that lets us concentrate more on the games, I suppose. So you get less tournament points if you romance Satch, but you can make it up in other areas, so that's good. A stray cherry petal slipped off my shirt and danced into the air. Thank you, Mai, for the cherry petals. John turned. The pianist was making his quick escape through a door. I didn't mean to create a draft. Sorry. No, you set the mood. Thank you, reluctant pianist. His eyes flew between the two of us for a moment. Then he ducked out of the heavy door. I have an answer for you, Hana, but first I need one from you. Oh, you're gonna hold us hostage now? If we don't agree to do the play, you won't go to the festival with us? Huh? Was this a trick question? John perched Jacques on his shoulder while I mentally prepared myself for whatever he was going to ask me. You never told me whether you wanted to be in the play. I think your talents would be utilized well here. But I'd be a tree. What kind of talents do I need to stand still in the background? I'll go to the flower festival with you if you agree to be in my play. John, you sassy little bastard! Why are you doing this to us? I sighed. John didn't get it. No one wanted to be a tree. I'm disappointed that you think I'm only good enough to be a tree, but I really appreciate the offer in general, so I'll take it. Thank you. Yeah! Yeah! Hana, this is your big break! I'll put you on the list for tryouts, but I can already tell your chances are good. Tryout? Tryout to be a tree? Oh God. See, PPG's thing was really heartfelt. I feel like John's romance route is just gonna be a beautiful train wreck from start to finish. John picked a clipboard up off the piano and tapped the back of his hand on it. Well, I have a list of people who want to be trees, you see. I have to pick the best one. There are tryouts, callbacks, and then another round just to be sure. It's probably just people that just want to be friends with somebody from the Normal Boots Club. I was defeated. But don't worry, I've already seen what you can do and I love it. Just come to the tryouts. Right. Okay, I can do that. And I'll do whatever I can to make you happy with this decision. I would have gone to the flower festival with you even if you didn't want to be a tree, but I figured I could get both of us what we wanted. We're going to be spending so much time together. Won't that be fun? I know Jacques is looking forward to it too. Huh? It didn't seem like he wanted to go at first, but now that I knew he was just as happy as I was, I felt much better. Even about being a tree. So, Jacques and I will meet you at the festival? As the full force of the fact that I did it, and he said yes, hit me, I broke into a huge smile. Yeah, that sounds great. Yay, we're going to the flower festival with JonTron. Okay, so this is all the same stuff. This is when the creepy notes begin, and here's the flower festival. It struck me as a surprise upon getting to the festival that there were people other than Asagao students wandering the streets. Immediately I realized my folly. This was a festival for the town of Higanbana after all, not for the academy. The people ambled about happily, including quite a few city folk come in to see what must be a well-known festival around these parts. I smiled. It was nice to feel involved. My cell vibrated from the small pocket I stashed into it, and I ducked into a corner to carefully extract it. Hana, this is your number, right? It's John. I'm gonna be a bit late. There's been a crisis. I'll get there ASAP. Uh-oh. A crisis? What's wrong? I shot him a text back, staring at my phone screen for some kind of feedback. After a few minutes, I realized nothing was going to come. Whatever was happening, he was dealing with it on his own. With a sigh, I turned back to the crowd flowing past the stalls. Now what was I supposed to do? I didn't like being around crowds, and I was too worried about John to enjoy the festival, although I tried to take what he said with a grain of salt. John seemed likely to panic about anything. Even my being cast as a tree in the play was a life-threatening decision to him. He's just passionate about it. It's all good. His very well-being depended on anything from what to have for lunch that day to ensuring that nobody in their right minds read romance novels and called themselves a friend of his. Wow. Wow, way to be judgmental there, John. In all likelihood, it wasn't anything too bad, but that didn't help me worry any less. Yeah, Hana's a worrier. I sighed again and stepped into the flow of the crowd. At the very least, I could look around and see if there was anything interesting. I didn't actually expect to find anything interesting. But somehow, I stumbled upon a fountain in one corner of the festival, set up to look like a group of dancing sirens. They held hands, almost like they were actually moving with each other. Wait, one of them was moving. I crept hesitantly towards the fountain and the twitching siren. Jacques! It's you! Of course, Jacques was I can't deal. Jacques turned to look at me, then dunked his beak into the fountain. Once wet, he shoved it under his wing. Was he preening? Curious, I crouched down next to him. Birds scared the heck out of me, and I didn't know why. I didn't have any bad experience with them. None tried to kill me as a kid. None stole my favorite jewelry or pooped on my favorite outfit or tried nesting in my hair. Maybe it was the aerial advantage. Birds were only a few technological advances from becoming evil kamikaze pilots, dive-bombing their prey without mercy. Wow! Yeah, without mercy. Maybe that was it. If a bird had a chance to be better than you, it would take it. If I could take advantage of you, it would. Birds were savage, heartless creatures, as far as I was concerned at least. But then here was Jacques, the most beloved thing to his cheerfully bumbling owner. Somehow the heart and love of John through staying by his side, even through all the sass. Well, Jacques was a robot, so it really wasn't the same thing, was it? Okay, guys, I just had a thought. You know how there's like a joke going around that John and Jacques are the same person, that like John is the bird? If that's what's happening here, I am going to cry with laughter.
Hey.
Oh, there you are. Oh, hey, John. Oh, you had a bird poop on your car yesterday, Kabitzen? That sucks. I hate that. John dashed through the crowd, darting right past me and picking Jacques up out of the fountain. Wow! I thought you were happy to see me, but apparently... Oh, so that was the crisis, is he couldn't find Jacques. You know I hate it when you leave without me. And to go to the fountain? Really? You know how I feel about fountains. What if you fell in? What then? You should wait for me to clean you, not go all willy-nilly on your own. I wanted to look pretty for our date. Oh no. Oh my god, I'm calling it now, they're the same person. I'm calling it now, let me save here. Oh man. Jacques' glowing red eyes turned to me and John followed his gaze. Hana, there you are. It's like I've killed two birds with one stone. Ha ha. Proverbially, not literally. Smooth operator, this one. I don't need your sass! Anyways, I'm glad we met up, Hana. How about we go get something to eat? Do you like dango? Jacques and I love it.
Yeah.
I haven't had that since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Let's go for it then! I was prepared to have delicious dessert-filled dango that evening. I was not prepared to die of sugar-filled sweetness. Oh, how cute is John? Oh, he's feeding Jacques dango. That is adorable. That's adorable. Okay, I'm dying of adorableness. Okay, look at that. That's great. I love it. Here, Jacques, this one's for you. John held a strawberry dango up to Jacques, who pinched the treat inside his beak. He didn't start chewing it or anything. Undoubtedly, as a robot, he could not eat it. Instead, he turned to look at me, eyes red with glee. I got a treat. You did! Good for you, Jacques! Happy day. John chuckled, popping a bit of dango into his own mouth. So, how did you and Jacques find each other, John? That's a bit of a tough question to ask. I'm calling it now! Jacques' creator is a bit of an elusive man. I didn't get to meet him. But a family friend apparently had a bit of an experience up in Tibet. He came back with his bird and these huge bags under his eyes, walking like a zombie. He practically threw Jacques at me, saying he didn't want to deal with it. I still don't know what he meant by that, but when I booted Jacques up, there he was. A fully fledged robot with autonomous AI and free will, able to form bonds and connections with people, with a functional memory bank and a hot chunk of sass to boot. That is the greatest backstory to their friendship I could have ever dreamed of. That's great. That's fantastic. He stroked the top of Jacques' head, who didn't seem to be interested in his own story. We've had a lot of adventures after that, you could say. I got into a few scrapes. Jacques got me into a few scrapes. I resent that. But he's always been by my side. He's what got me to Asagao. He's what made me interested in electronics. He's what kept me sane and feeling like I mattered. John stopped. Anyways, don't you have something like that? Something you love more than anything else? Hana, I guess. My dad.
Really?
Really? Usually people aren't too keen on their parents. No, my dad is the best. He's an artist, a sculptor. He makes pottery and runs his own shop all by himself, even after my mom passed away. John's face fell and I stopped in my tracks. Anyways, he sacrificed everything for me over the years. I'm the most important thing to him and he's the most important thing to me. I miss him so much. Well, if he runs his own business, he probably keeps busy. He can afford to send you to Asagao after all. John laughed heartily and a pang shot to my gut. You mean, you can't tell? Oh, he can't tell that she's poor! He can't tell that she got here on a scholarship, that she didn't pay her way in! I love it! Tell what? He's so oblivious, John. Oh my god. I frowned, not really sure whether I was happy or sad. I'm not rich like you people are here. You people? Damn, those are some strong words. Well, I'm just saying. Asagao serves steak for lunch every Wednesday. Actual steak! Yeah, and? That's not normal! It's not. My dad and I eat ramen half the nights of the week. I help him in the shop all day when I'm at home. I've never owned a game console. We only have one 7-year-old computer that we split between the two of us. I use bus passes to go anywhere. Okay, sorry. You seem kind of stressed. Yeah, well, being around all this luxury is more unnerving than relaxing. Half the time I'm afraid I'm going to break something or get a stain on my uniform. If that happens, I'll just have to wear it the rest of the year. We can't afford to replace it. Yeah, well, I mean, thanks, Paul. Already ruined one of our outfits. The ice cream incident. Yeah, now you know why she was so upset when Paul got ice cream on her, because she can't afford another uniform. Yeah, that. So, wait, you work in your dad's shop? You don't go to school? No, I go to school too. I was at school the whole time. It's, I just meant on weekends. Oh, that sounds like it sucks. He looked at the dango in his hands, then back at me. I should have paid for yours.
No.
No! Don't you dare give me that! What? It's only right. I don't want your pity. I guarantee you all the other normal boots guys notice, but they don't treat me like a charity case. Just treat me like a normal person, like you used to. Okay, if you say so. That's kind of an awkward conversation. We descended into an awkward silence. Yeah, I would imagine. I shouldn't have yelled at him like that. Now things were weird and I didn't know how to fix them.
Yeah!
Oh boy! John pointed at something across the way and ran for it. I followed him from a distance, unable to catch up in my restrictive yukata. It's a bird! A stuffed bird! Win it for me, Hana!
What?
Me? No special treatment, remember? It took me 12 tries to win that damned stuffed bird. Even then, I didn't win it. The booth manager gave it to me out of sheer pity. John accepted it with utmost graciousness, and I resisted the urge to punch him in the face. I'm going to take it to bed with me every night. His name will be Mr. Snuffles, and he'll never leave my sight. Never! John is literally a big kid. I love it. I'm glad. But it was hard to stay mad at John. It was always hard to stay mad at John. He's so oblivious. I mean. Alright, Chapter 2!
Hey!
Whoa. Okay. I want to make sure that was kind of an awkward cut-in. I wanted to make sure I didn't mess something up. Alright, so chapter 2.
Hey!
What do you think? Does that look good? John was pointing to a chunk of hollow wood painted burnt orange, part of a set to make a birdhouse. It was a few days after the flower festival and we were at the mall. John asked me to hang with him, and when I accepted, he immediately came here. We gotta read it. We have to start reading these things again now because they should be different. Dear Diary, honestly, I really envy Jean and Jacques' relationship. Will I ever be that close to him? I hope so. You never know, Hana. It was a little confusing to me. We were talking to each other more than usual, hanging out with each other all the time, but I didn't know whether to consider the flower festival as our first date. I wasn't sure whether he had feelings for me either. He's JonTron! And I had feelings for him, but what were they? It was all too confusing, so I almost preferred the general silence on that subject. Right now, hanging out with each other was fun. I didn't want to think about it harder than that. Yeah, you probably shouldn't anyway. We were window shopping and chatting with each other, but of course when John saw this birdhouse in a shop window, he stopped. Now, nothing I did would make him budge. Well, I do like the colors. It is a home fit for a king. It is heaven. It is the 7th kingdom. Thank you, Jacques. Buy it for me. I glanced at the price tag and gasped. Maybe not. Let's, Jacques, you like ice cream, don't you? Hana, he's a mechanical bird. I enjoy it in theory, as every other semi-sentient human being does. Semi-sentient human being! But you know what I would enjoy not in theory? That birdhouse. John snapped his fingers. He makes a compelling case. Alright, buddy. If it's for you, it's worth it. Finally, you see who wears the pants in this relationship. Well, you're already wearing normal boots jackets, so you might as well wear the pants too. And as pants are fundamentally worse than wearing dresses or going naked, we know who is superior here. I eyed Jack warily, but John simply laughed. What a card, right, Hana? Right. I love this particular face of Hana. She's like, not sure if John's crazy or if Bird's going to kill us all. John went inside to buy the birdhouse. I stayed behind in the main center of the mall, watching a mother and her 3-year-old son walking past. Part of the reason I didn't want to go in was because everything in that shop was so damn expensive. The very thought of walking around in there sent shivers up my spine. One wrong move and it'd be back to Amarisu for me. But the other reason was that I needed some time away from Jacques. My feelings on him were mixed. I think they meant to say JonTron there. Admittedly, it was hard for me to hang around him so much. It was clear that John wasn't going to part with him though, so I tried to suck it up. Oh, okay, so it's actually Jacques she's talking about. Okay. My mistake, it's actually Jacques she's talking about. It was clear that Jacques was a well-behaved bird robot, one who was not at all inclined to talent-based murder on a whim, but every now and then he'd flutter his wings or turn to preen himself and adrenaline shot through my body. I was constantly on edge, and it was nice to have a break, even if it was only temporary. John emerged from the shop, a large cardboard box under one arm. Sweet, I got it! Ready to head back? You're gonna have to get used to him if you want to be with John. They're kind of a package duo. What? Already? But we just got here. Oh, we did, didn't we? It would be hard to lug this all over the mall, though. John made a face at me and I sighed. Fine, let's go back. Sweet! Thanks, Hana! A few days later, I was sitting in John's dorm, wielding a heavy hammer. Oh! Jacques poked his head over the instructional manual, examining the different planks of wood in front of us. I had no idea how this was supposed to become a birdhouse, but John was determined to see it through. Nail this in here. John pointed to a dot in the orange wood, and I lifted a nail over the spot. Here? Yep, there. Are you sure? Yes, it'll be in the side. Hammer it in. I scrunched my eyes shut and lifted the hammer. Whoa! Whoa, whoa, whoa! What on earth are you doing? I froze, staring at him. Hammering the wood? Hammering your fist, more like. I'm better with pottery wheels? Give me that. John yanked the hammer from my hand, shaking his head. Kill me like a maniac, I swear. But he was smiling even as he huffed. Day faded into night as we worked on the little birdhouse, fielding some harsh words from the other boys on the floor, and mishaps involving incorrectly attached spokes. Finally, John screwed in a peg on the front of the house and sat back on his heels. We did it! It's done! It is! A tiny orange birdhouse with a dirty red roof stood proudly in front of us, about as tall as my arm. It looked bigger on the box, but maybe this is better? John stood the birdhouse on the edge of the desk and smiled. Now Jacques has a place to stay when he pretends to sleep. When he pretends to sleep? Well, yeah, he's a robot. Well, he's got to recharge, but I have to plug him in and watch him for that to happen. Otherwise, his battery could overload and he'd literally explode. Oh gosh, I wonder what happened in PBG's route. I wonder how Jacques got damaged. He can explode? He's got a self-destruct mechanism too. But don't worry, only I know what phrase triggers it. Oh no. Oh no. Was that really a good thing? I have a feeling it's a terrible thing. We're gonna wind up saying it on accident. It's gonna be awful. So, now that we're done, do you want to take a break and play some games or something? Oh, that sounds really nice. Do you want if we do a puzzle game? I want to practice for the tournament, so... John's face darkened as soon as I said the word puzzle, and I stopped in my tracks. Puzzles. My old nemesis. He stroked his beard, then turned to stare solemnly out the window. I timidly approached him, hands pressed rapidly to my rapidly beating heart. Blech. What happened between you and puzzles so many years ago? It wasn't what I wanted to happen, I'll tell you that. John leaned an arm over the window, then heaved a heavy sigh. I loved puzzles. They were good to me, and in return I was good to them. We were symbiotic. But then... He shuddered. They destroyed me. I was stuck on a puzzle I witnessed several times before but was never able to solve. I spent hours poring over this puzzle. Days even. Finally, I decided to take a break. What can take my mind off this, I asked myself. Unsurprisingly, I knew the answer. A new puzzle, a new challenge, something grounded in reality. I would solve a 1,000-piece puzzle. But John... I know. I should have known better. Should have been more careful. I love how dramatic they're making this. It's so good. He clenched his fist, then hit his face. After a few seconds, he collected himself and resumed. I shook the pieces out of the box and set to work, but both games were salty. The games were salty. I love jigsaw puzzles, by the way. That's hilarious. In hindsight, I should have known better than to puzzle in front of another puzzle. Oh my god. So, what happened in the end? I laid a gentle hand on John's shoulders. He nodded at me, gathering strength from my touch. I finished the 1,000-piece puzzle, all except for one piece.
No.
No. That piece went missing. Oh, that's a sucky feeling. No! I found that piece underneath the very puzzle I was solving.
No!
I can't with this story. Yes, that is as it happened. John put his face in his hands. When I returned, a shattered mess, to my beloved computer puzzles, I discovered my save was wiped out as well. I knew then what happened. The puzzle gods were angry at me. No, they are angry with me. And that's why I can't go near them. Oh my god, I can't with this story. It's so funny. He slowly turned towards me, staring at me with his eyes ablaze. That is why you are here. Oh yeah, that's right. In the beginning, when they said they needed a puzzle person, John, like, got very emotional about it. Me? Yes, you.
Hana.
You, Hana. You are our only hope. John took my hands in his, leaning towards me. His brown eyes got bigger and bigger, and what pretty eyelashes he had. Blushy ellipses. Then, his face just centimeters from mine. So don't mess this up, okay? Oh, okay. He stepped away from the window and from me, returning to our rugged birdhouse.
See you later.
Anyways, I've got some work to do now, so I'll see you later. Summarily dismissed and not entirely sure what just happened, I gathered my things. John was inspecting his planner, frustration etched on his face. Right. Thanks anyways, John. John glanced at me and seeing the sad look on my face, frowned. No, thank you. I really enjoyed myself. This was fun. We should hang out more often. I'm not satisfied with seeing you alone only every couple of days. Oh, John, is this your way of saying that you're into Hana? Look at the blush on that face. That would be nice.
Huh.
It's such a shame you're not interested in joining the play. I would get to see you all the time then, and I swear you're just right for a tree. We said we would go, didn't we? We said we would go and audition. He shook his head sadly. Anyways, be seeing you. The more time I spent with John, the more attractive the prospect of joining the play became. Of course, being a tree was not something I would ever be proud to admit to. I certainly wouldn't be writing home to tell my dad about it. But if I could see John every day, it just might be worth it. John and I tried to spend more time together over the next week, but it proved to be rather difficult. Between John's play and practice, our homework, PB&J, normal Boots Club meetings, and practicing for the tournament, there was hardly any time in which we could see each other. Even when we did, we were almost never alone. Mai was in my room, PBG in his, students wandering the fields and hallways. With all the time I wasn't spending with John, I started to reconsider his proposal. As insulting as was his belief that I would sincerely make the best tree this side of the Pacific, I had no doubt he sincerely meant it as a compliment. Yeah, I don't think he means it to be mean. I think he genuinely thinks it's a compliment. I think he's trying to compliment you. John was prone to putting his foot in his mouth. He was blunt and straightforward and usually said exactly what he meant, even if there wasn't the most tactful thing, or even what his true feelings on the situation were. Besides, if you looked at it in a different way, being a tree really was a special kind of talent. One had to remain still and completely and totally lack presence. Apparently, ninjas trained hard to develop this kind of ability, and here I had it naturally. This is what's called, self-justifying you wanting to be a tree to spend more time with John. Sure, pretending to be a tree wasn't exactly as cool as being a ninja, but it would be kind of cool to be in a play. Due to my stage fright, I had never been in one. If I didn't have to speak to be a tree, it was the perfect role. I didn't think another opportunity as perfect as this would come again. So with these totally reasonable and not at all reaching justifications in mind, I went to class to talk to John. What did I say? Let's see before we continue. Oh, the part of this place is called Tree Dimensional, you guys. I'm a huge fan of horrible puns, and the fact that it's called Tree Dimensional makes me so happy. Okay, let's read this diary entry. Dear Diary, you know, maybe Jacques isn't so bad. I can't help but feel like I was being a big jerk for being afraid of him, but at the same time, I can't help that I was afraid. At least it's getting better now, even if it is just because he's a robot. Alright, let's tell John we're interested. But John wasn't in class that day. Uh-oh! It was unusual, but not totally unexpected. John was falling behind with preparations for the play and had been working hard. It wouldn't surprise me if he skipped class to build a set or review costume designs. So when class finally ended, I headed to the theater, intent on accepting John's offer and helping in any way I possibly could. I opened the door to the theater, it creaking with what felt like deliberate menace. The light from the open door cascaded through the audience seats and down onto the stage, but nobody came. The house lights were off, and only a few lights dimly lit the stage. Maybe the drama club didn't meet every day? But it was weird to have those lights left on if nobody was around. I wasn't about to go fiddling in the dark with the stage equipment, though. Maybe John was resting in his dorm room. I turned to leave when something made me pause. Was that a sniff? Someone was whimpering. Oh no, John! What happened, John? Oh, is this the... Oh god, oh, I don't know what's happening, and I'm very concerned. Concerned, I stepped down towards the stage. Hello? Is anybody here? My voice echoed, bouncing off the walls backstage. There was a slight chill to the air the further down I went, and the stillness caused goosebumps to creep up my arms. I heard it again, this time to my right. Hesitantly, I followed the sound, heart pounding hard enough to shake my vision. A dark form emerged, huddled against the wall. Who are you? What are you doing in here? I took another step closer, and my vision adjusted. Yeah, it's John. It was John, hunched over something in his hands. His face was pale and lined with smudged tears and sweat. He broke Jacques! No! It looked like he hadn't moved in hours. John! I rushed to his side as he attempted to stifle his sobs. He reached an arm towards me, and I took his hand in mine. Hana, it's terrible. What happened? Are you sick? Are you hurt? With another stifled cry, John shifted. In his lap was a tangled mess of wire bolts and green? Realization hit me like a pot shattering against the floor. That can't be! Jacques! He is... John stared at the mess in his lap, shaking his head.
What?
What happened? John howled, crouching over Jacques' mess of a body again, and I checked myself. It was too soon, and John was in too volatile of a state to really be talked to. Instead, I rubbed his back, trying to talk in a soothing voice. Well, it's okay. It'll be okay. He's a robot, so he could be repaired. He could be rebuilt if worse comes to worse. John continued shaking his head, completely inconsolable. I had no idea whether Jacques couldn't be fixed, or if he was just losing it. Instantly, I shifted into caretaker mode. I gently placed a hand on the side of John's head, stilling its near-content shaking, and pushed it onto my shoulder. Shh, it'll be okay. We're going to figure something out. It'll be okay. Focus on the sound of my voice, okay? I'm still here. You're still here. It'll be okay. I tried to murmur calming things, humming songs and gently rocking him back and forth. Oh, Hana! You're so cute! Back when I was still living with my father and started to have panic attacks, this is what he would do to calm me down. I squeezed my eyes shut, praying it would work for John, too. Eventually, John's trembling calmed. He sniffed, then wrapped an arm around me, hugging me like a teddy bear. We stayed like that for a while. I didn't know how much time passed, but I eventually lost feeling in my legs. Finally, John spoke. Jacques is the most important thing to me. What am I going to do if I don't have him? I pulled out of our embrace, searching his face. You'll be alright, John. You're much stronger than you think. Believe me. John swallowed, turning away from me. From somewhere within, he gathered the strength to pull himself together. After another second or two, he sat back on his heels and looked at me. Thanks, Hana. He was still very clearly upset, but at least he was coherent. I nodded. Maybe there's a way we could fix him. I'm not sure. But when I saw him like that, His breathing sped up again, the beginnings of hyperventilation. I recognized him from my own experience. I stroked his hand. It's okay. We'll take him and see right now. Let's just focus on that for now. Until we know for sure, let's focus on what's happening right now. John nodded solemnly. With a gentle hand, he took off his jacket and turned to Jacques, or what was left of him. He placed everything in his jacket, then bundled it all together in his arms. When he had checked that there were no holes bolts could drop out of, he nodded at me. Let's go. We rushed from the theater to Bluebell House, heads down to avoid eye contact with the students. Thankfully, due to the chill in the air and the lack of sun, few students were out. Neither of us were interested in answering the questions that were sure to come once people saw the look on John's face. When we finally made it to Bluebell House, John asked me to fish the keys from his pocket. I did so, ignoring the blush that fought to rise to my cheeks, somewhat irritated that even in such a grave circumstance, my mind wandered to other things. Finally, I pushed open the door and John rushed in. As I followed, I checked the hallway. Nobody had come out of their rooms. We were, as far as I could tell, safe. John went straight to his desk in the back of the room, where a small metallic contraption was attached to his computer. Seeing as it was Jacques' size, I assumed it was where he slept, or charged. I sat on the couch, trying hard not to make a sound. John was, for the moment, not utterly consumed by his grief. I was terrified something I said or did would break the spell. Thankfully, PBG was nowhere to be found. More than likely, he was on the field, practicing for Asagao's first game against Hato Full High. Yes, by the way, Hatoful high. John placed Jacques' remains on his desk and unwrapped his jacket, moving painstakingly slowly so as not to alter the positions of the wires and gears more than they already had been. When he finally finished, he put on his jacket without seeming to realize what he was doing. Those jackets were more like their second skins, it seemed. As John paused to survey the damage, I peered over his shoulder at the tangled mess. Jacques' head and claws were still visible. Sort of. Some of his feathers were burned off, along with chips in the internal wiring. Wires were cut and edges blunted. Something that looked like a microchip had a dent in it. One of his wings was completely detached from his body. John turned to me and I hesitantly shook my head. I don't really know anything about robotics. John wiped his face with his hands, pushing his skin up towards his hairline. I know a bit, but not enough to fix this. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Well, where did you buy him? You could probably take him back and they could fix it. Jacques was made by a monk who lives in a technological empire on a mountaintop in Tibet. Or at least he did. He's dead now. I still get updates through that guy's grandchildren. They update the operating system for him because it was easier to figure out than how some old man managed to make both fully functional AI and a robotic bird shell and stick the two together. I see. What were we going to do? It was a question I didn't need to ask. John's head was shaking once again, some kind of compulsive movement he must have not realized was happening. He didn't say anything. I'd never lost a pet. My father and I couldn't afford pets, not on his salary alone. But I knew a lot about grief. The echoing pain of a sudden absence. The absence of someone who was already there for you. The sudden feeling of living in a world with no safe harbor. In a world where only you could look after yourself. I laid a hand on John's shoulder. Do you want to be alone? The edges of John's lips raised and what might have been counted as a smile given the circumstances. Thank you, Hana. He sat down in his desk chair and became still as a rock. Before I left, I grabbed a blanket sitting on what I assumed was John's bunk and draped it around his shoulders. I had a feeling he'd be like that for a while. As I approached the door, John stirred from his reverie. Please don't tell anyone about this, Hana. Please. I nodded. He turned back to his desk. Oh no! Here's where the drama's gonna start because people are gonna notice that something's wrong with him. And since we spent a lot of time together, they're gonna be like, oh, Hana, what's wrong with JonTron? And I'm gonna have to be like, nothing? And I'm gonna have to try to play it off, and it's gonna be a mess. I crept out of the room, shutting the door gently behind me. PBG would come back from practice eventually, and he would find John there. PBG had a very calming personality. He'd be able to handle things. He'd be able to help a little, at least to keep watch over John. I wish there was more I could do. It wasn't until I was on my walk home that the full impact of what happened hit me. I was so caught up helping John overcome his shock that I forgot that I, too, knew and cared for Jacques. Not as much as John. No way. But I'd grown fond of the little bird's snark. He's not going to sass me ever again, is he? Hot tears rolled down my cheeks. I wiped my face and doubled my pace. Like John, I didn't want people to see me cry. Of course, there was no way I could avoid Mai, not when I lived with her. I opened the door to my room, and as soon as I saw the flickering movements of Mai's gold sweater, I ducked my head.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Hana. How'd the whole tree thing go? Good. I turned away, setting my bag on the floor next to my desk. Then I stood and stared at it. I hadn't really thought past getting to my room. I was just trying to get to it so I wouldn't explode in front of everybody, so I had some place to process things. Now Mai was here, and it was all I could do to hold myself together. Planning the next step had fallen to the wayside. Hana? Are you alright? You don't look too good. I swallowed. Yeah. Sitting around like a zombie wasn't a good way to get people to not worry about you. I attempted a bright smile. Of course I am! Well, who wouldn't I be? My chin wobbled in the middle of my reply, and the look on Mai's face told me she didn't trust me as far as she could throw a semi-truck. Well, with her arms, she might be able to throw a semi-truck, I don't know. Come here. Mai sat down on my bed and patted the space next to her. I glanced from her to the door. If I wanted to, I could run to the bathroom. If I did, the stall would definitely be empty and I could cry by myself in peace. I would still know something happened, but at least we wouldn't have to deal with the awkwardness that was someone crying in front of you and not knowing how to comfort them. I followed my gaze to the door, then slapped the bed. Sit! I obediently sat down next to her. She turned to face me full on, and the presence of her big, empathetic eyes staring at me was uncomfortable. I grabbed Mr. Bunny. Mr. Bunny had always been there for me in times like these. He was the only one who saw me cry about things like this. I buried my face into his soft fur. Tell me what's wrong, Hana. You can't always keep things to yourself. You already do that way too much. I do not. My voice was muffled by Mr. Bunny's fur, but Mai just chuckled. Sure you don't, because I can't hear you crying in your bed on bad nights. Immediately, heat sprung up to my face. Had I woken her? How many times had she heard me? Why hadn't she said anything? I rubbed my hands together, shaking my head. Mai stared at me, patiently, like a Buddhist monk in meditation. I sighed. But then another thought occurred to me. As sad as I was about Jacques' passing, John was even more upset. Far more upset. He asked me not to tell anybody, so what was I supposed to do? It might be nice to tell Mai, but it's not really any of my business. It must be if you're heaving sighs like that. She wrapped an arm around my back, resting her head on my shoulder. Come on, Hana. Lay it on me. The old Meister's got you covered. She nuzzled her head into my shoulder and my heart squeezed. Well, I ran into John today in the theater. When I went to look for him. And at first it looked like nobody was there, but I heard a noise, and I found him crouched in a corner and I auditioned for the role, but I didn't do as well as he thought I would, and now I might not get the part. I winced as I let the lie slip through my mouth. Mai didn't deserve dishonesty from me. But at the same time, John was a private person. He didn't trust easily. And this was very clearly a private matter, one that didn't belong with the rest of the gossip that sped daily between classroom doors. It wasn't necessarily that I thought Mai would tell people if she knew, but the potential harm was far, far too great for me to cave in a moment of weakness, even if I was sad, even if I was grieving again, even if I could use some comfort. Oh, Hana.
What a jerk!
Man, what is up with that kid? He's always so rude. He spent all this time telling you were perfect for the part, now he's gonna go back on his word? Don't worry, Hana. You're still the best tree in my eyes, and we both know that's what matters most. Mai winked, then pulled me into a hug. I'm sorry that you're sad, though. I do hope you end up feeling better soon. Life's too short to spend it worrying about some dumb boy. Tears once again filled my eyes, and I patted Mai's arm. Thank you, Mai. Thank you. Alrighty, so I think this is a good place to pause the stream. Let me make sure that I save, because that would suck if I didn't. So yeah, this is where we're going to stop. Thank you so much for joining me, Kabitzin. Thank you again for the host. If you guys look in the chat, my wonderful bot, which has not exploded, unlike Jacques, will tell you how to follow me on all my social media. You can follow me on Twitter @TheGinachu, and here on Twitch and on YouTube to keep an eye on when I'm streaming next. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully tomorrow we'll do another round and we'll pick up from where we left off. But John's story is kind of a roller coaster, huh? It went from this really funny, like, full of gag story to this really sad, serious thing. And it really is like losing a pet, now that you think about it. And that's really sad for anyone. So, yeah, we'll pick up tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for joining me. And I hope to see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.